When you think of the ransom sacrifice, who comes to mind? John 15 verse 13 states, "No one has greater love than this, that someone should surrender his life in behalf of his friends, who willingly forsook their spirit body to live on earth among imperfect humans, who was mocked, abused, and painfully executed, who showed the greatest love, Jesus." Well, not according to Jehovah's Witnesses.
What is the greatest expression of love and compassion ever shown? No doubt you will answer, Jehovah giving his Son as a ransom. And indeed, we cannot thank Jehovah enough for the ransom arrangement.
What's remarkable is this entire talk on the ransom sacrifice. Jesus is never mentioned by name, not even once. The talk is about the ransom sacrifice. How can they avoid saying Jesus? I'll share a little tech tip if you want to be able to quickly search videos. The videos on their website use Web Video Text Track or Web VTT format subtitles. They have a VTT file extension. You can easily download and search through them to find keywords or find a part without having to scroll through the entire video. Here's how to do it without any outside programs or technical knowledge. In this example, I'm using the Microsoft Edge browser. Right-click and select Inspect. This will open the developer tools. Find Network. You might have to click on the Show More arrows if it isn't visible. Once selected, enter VTT in the filter. Remember, that's the file extension for these subtitles. Press Ctrl-R on your keyboard. This will refresh the page. And there's the subtitle file. If you click it, you can preview it right in the browser. Or double-click it to download and open in any text editor like Notepad. Now you can do a keyword search. Ctrl-F. Let's look for Jesus. If you want to get rid of some of the formatting clutter, select a sentence. Then go to Edit, then Replace. Leave the Replace with field blank, and then click Replace All. Now you can read the script along with the video timestamps showing where to find a part. In the entire video, his name is not mentioned once. He is mentioned, however, as Christ once and Son a few times. But for a topic that is entirely about Jesus' sacrifice, it felt insulting to deny him the respect of at least naming him.
Let us use today's morning worship comments to highlight the connection between compassion and the ransom. Now, to do so, we will consider these questions. How does Jehovah show his love and compassion through the ransom? And how does the ransom emphasize why we should show love and compassion? To answer, let us go back to the time that Adam and Eve were without sin.
I'll fast forward this part. It's just relating the history of Adam and Eve and how they sinned. We've heard it a million times at the meetings.
Now, if Jehovah would have left that situation as it was, he would have acted justly because the wages sin pays is death. However, out of his love and compassion for the offspring of Adam and Eve, what did Jehovah do?
Now an illustration about a clock and how we can draw closer to Jehovah.
However, as stated at Habakkuk 1:13, Jehovah's eyes are too pure to look onto what is evil. Therefore, Jehovah needed to cover our sin. So, to provide that needed covering, in 33 CE, Jehovah offered his Son as an atoning sacrifice.
If you want to watch the entire video on jw.org, I'll have a link in the description below.
Now, let's return to our clock illustration. We give visible proof of our gratitude for the ransom by loving one another. Now, think for a moment about this amazing statement. Of all the visible acts of faith that we could have been asked to demonstrate in order to express our gratitude for the ransom, what does Jehovah require of us? John stated that we should love our brothers and sisters. Clearly, in Jehovah's eyes, our showing love to one another is of the utmost importance.
I can think of several big ways that Jehovah's Witnesses, the organization, does not show love. They don't report all cases of CSA to secular authorities. Elders are instructed to contact the legal departments at Bethel first to see if they live in a mandatory reporting area. Is it loving to put the perceived reputation of Jehovah, or the monetary loss from lawsuits, above the welfare of the victim? I just posted a video on this. Link is in the description below. Is it really loving to shun members, even those that were baptized as minors? Many are baptized as children and have no concept of the lifelong commitment they made. Shunning results in suicide, families and friendships torn apart, and emotional trauma. Do those that return do so because they love Jehovah, or because they're being emotionally blackmailed? Is shunning actually showing love? I have a video on baptism and shunning. Link is also below if you're interested in knowing more. They prohibit life-saving medical treatments, like blood transfusions. How is a symbol of life more important than the life itself? It's like a husband saving his wife's wedding ring in a fire instead of his actual wife. Even Jesus healed a man on the Sabbath, and Saul's famished army ate the meat along with the blood, and they only needed to make sacrifices for forgiveness afterwards. It wasn't a death sentence. There is a very poorly explained questions from readers in the July 15, 1982 Watchtower that attempts to address these examples, but fails miserably. Not only that, their blood doctrine is full of huge logical holes. For example, milk, especially breast milk, is packed with leukocytes, also known as white blood cells. It's what helps the baby with their immunity. Yet, white blood cells are one of so-called 4 primary components they prohibit. Then why is there no prohibition against drinking milk? How is one okay, but not the other? The Bible Teach book even made the point that it doesn't matter how a substance enters the body, whether by ingestion or transfusion. The Jehovah's Witnesses have also changed doctrine that have had life-altering or fatal consequences, like when blood fractions were prohibited, but now they are a conscience matter. Or how about when organ transplants weren't permitted? How many died needlessly during the period that doctrine was enforced? Or how about when vaccines were prohibited? How many died then? Switching gears a bit, how about when the organization taught that resurrected ones would not get married, only to change their understanding, resulting in those that were alive and got remarried being heartbroken? Or how about when homosexuality or even bestiality were not grounds for a scriptural divorce? How many marriage mates were forced to stay with their unfaithful partner because they weren't scripturally free to remarry again? Is that showing love? Or how about Bethelites that have become older or aren't needed any longer and are sent packing without a safety net, pension, or any retirement income? They are forced to leech off the kindness and funds of family or other witnesses. Meanwhile, the organization repeatedly solicits donations and for unpaid labor for their building projects and real estate flips. Is that showing love?
Today, we are very thankful to be part of a worldwide family of brothers and sisters who give visible proof of their warm love for one another, especially during this challenging time. And why will we continue to love one another? Because by doing so, we show our gratitude to Jehovah for the ransom arrangement, which is the greatest expression of love and compassion ever shown.
One thing Jehovah's Witnesses cannot claim to show as an organization is love. The facade looks all happy, but like those Pharisees that Jesus condemned, they are like whitewashed graves, appearing beautiful outwardly, but inside are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness. Please like, share, and subscribe, and post your thoughts in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and see you in the next video.